In this updated tutorial in Cyberlink PowerDirector, we'd like to take a look at how to pan across a still image using the Magic Motion tool. And in particular, we want to focus on the user-defined function within Magic Motion. We'll describe that in a moment. I have on the screen an image of the eastern side of Jerusalem. I'm going to click on it to highlight it and then move into the Magic Motion tool. I can click on the icon of the wand in the toolbar above the timeline and then choose Magic Motion. I can use a keyboard shortcut if I want to, which is the Alt key plus the 2 key. Either way, I get into my Magic Motion options here. And we see there are a lot of them. To see them all, I have to take up most of my screen, and I discover I have 14 of these presets that are related to panning, which is moving across the screen from one place to another. When I hover over any of them, it will give me a description of the panning movement. For example, this one is vertical down. If I click on it, two things happen. It applies that panning to my clip. Then I can play that clip and see what it will do. So with vertical down, I'll click the play button and we have a very simple vertical down. Almost full screen, but not quite, moving from the top to the bottom. Now let's say I want to pan in a different direction. Click back on my clip and go back to the Magic Motion. Now I can reset it to turn all the values off. You notice the eye disappeared on my clip, but I don't have to because it will only use one motion at a time. So if I had vertical up set or vertical down and I want to go horizontal left, now horizontal left is highlighted, it takes over. And let's look at what that does. We'll make a little more room on the screen, and there's horizontal left. Let's try another one in our list here that's a panning one. We have one here called right down to left up. So we'll click and we'll play, and it's right down to left up. I want to control exactly where on this particular image the focus of the viewer is. And some of these, in some cases, will give me exactly what I want, but oftentimes they won't. Another problem is I can't control the speed of the motion. So that's why I'm going to focus in this lesson on the user-defined function for panning. So I click on user-defined, and now I have my Magic Motion Designer. We have several main areas. We have the edit area in the center. Then we have a preview area in the upper right. We have the aspect ratio, which it inherits from your major project that you're working on. And then we have a bunch of keyframe controls here. Now, if you're not familiar with a keyframe basically says, at this moment, I want the video to have these qualities. You can keyframe rotation, scale, all three using these particular tools. We're going to focus basically on position, which is panning in this example. When I want to go to a keyframe, the active one is always the one with the pinkish red diamond. To move from one to another, I click on the right arrow pointing to a diamond below. Now I move to the last keyframe. If I go to the other one, I point back, it goes to the first keyframe. If I want to remove a keyframe, all I have to do is make sure I'm on the one I want to remove. That one has the pinkish reddish diamond on it, and I click on the diamond with the minus. That will remove the keyframe. Every picture has one keyframe at the beginning because it has to have a definition for how big it is and where it is. And that's the left one that we have right here. So that is my initial keyframe. If I play this with only one keyframe, nothing happens because there's nothing else for it to compare itself to. There's no motion, there's no enlargement or reduction, there's no rotation. So in terms of panning, what we often do is we need to take a subset of the entire picture, and we can control the size of that window, if you will, by dragging on any of the bounding boxes, and the little blue dot in the middle is the center of the image. So if I want this to start focusing on a pretty small area in the upper left, I just move this, holding onto the blue dot, and resize it. And if you look in the preview window on the upper right, you'll see I focused on the hotel that's up on the side of the mountain here. So that's where we might start. So all of these attributes I've done affect the keyframe with the mark on it, the red mark on it. So right now, that's where we start. And if I simply play it here, it stays locked in on that until I add a keyframe. To add a keyframe, you simply click anywhere here. Now, this doesn't add a keyframe, it just identifies a location where you can. And this gives your time coordinates. Right now, I'm 22 frames into the project. And if that's the place I want to add a keyframe, I simply click on the plus by the diamond. Now it adds a keyframe and it makes that active. Now right now it has the same value as the other one did because I haven't changed anything. But if I'm going to take this and say move this to the tower in the middle, now this is the new location for the image. If I back up and stop and play the image, it will move from the high rise over here to the tower in the middle, and you see that on the preview screen. The closer these keyframes are to each other, the faster the movement because the time has been reduced. So right now it will be very quick on the preview screen. We'll play it again. Boom, very, very quick. Or if I take it and move it way far to the right, I'll play it, and now the motion is slower. Now, one restriction you have is if you want it slower yet and you've got it all the way to the right, what can you do? The only thing you can do there, I'm going to click on OK to get out of the editor, is you can enlarge or lengthen the duration of the clip. Now, if the clip is longer, I have more time inside the clip to make these adjustments. So I can go back to my magic motion. It's still on the screen, go back to user defined, and that puts me in the editor now because the clip is longer. This point in time is later. Now I'm 7 seconds into the clip. So if I play this, we find that the motion between the hotel and the tower is a lot slower. So you have to factor in the length of the clip in terms of the speed of your movement. The other thing I can do that I like in this is let's say we'll take part of the time to move from the hotel to the tower. Then let's say we want to lock the camera on the tower for a while. I click to another point in my timeline here, and I'm going to add a keyframe. Now if I click on the double diamond, I can duplicate the keyframe. I can duplicate the previous keyframe or the next one. Now the next one's grayed out because there is no next one. So we'll duplicate the previous keyframe. Then I'll move over to the end and we'll set another keyframe with a keyframe diamond and the plus sign. And let's say at the end I want it to focus on the other building up here in the upper right by the tree. And now if I play this, we'll see that the camera, as it were, moves slowly from the building to the tower. It stays there between these two keyframes, and then it moves over to the right. Now, if I want it to stay locked on the two buildings longer, all I need to do is lengthen the duration of time between these two keyframes, and it will pause longer. If I want it to be a much shorter time, I put them closer together. Let's play this again. Moves to the tower, stays there for a season, and then it moves to the building in the upper right. So that's a way in which you can control the motion. If you need more time again, you need to make the entire clip longer. But I like the user-defined function for panning because it allows me to very carefully define the size of the window that people will see on the screen and the way in which the camera moves, speed, focus, and I just find that very, very helpful. I find this to be a very useful tool in CyberLink PowerDirector.